Meghan Markle is having a tough week. If you could peek into her home in Montecito, you might see her walking back and forth, holding her phone in one hand and a legal pad in the other, trying to understand how everything changed so quickly. The royal family's official website, which keeps track of who's part of the family and who's not, recently made a surprising update. Princess Lilibet has disappeared from the official profiles. While she's still in line to inherit the throne, her personal page has been completely removed. This has left Meghan feeling very upset. Let's not pretend that the royal family hasn't played around with their public image before. This isn't the first time they've changed how Harry and Meghan appear on their official website. Previously, their profiles mysteriously disappeared from the front page, only to pop back up a few minutes later as if nothing had happened. But this time feels different. Lilibet's page isn't just missing, it seems to have been intentionally removed. What's adding fuel to the fire is the rumor that Meghan believes this is connected to her daughter's birth certificate. Remember that unusual video of her dancing while she was pregnant? It caught a lot of attention for the wrong reasons, mainly because something about her baby bump seemed off, leading people to question its authenticity. There have also been whispers about the birth certificate showing a Colorado area code instead of a California one, which adds even more intrigue to the situation. Meghan's team claims she's being unfairly targeted, but insiders suggest that the royal family might be asking for some serious proof, like official birth documents. Meanwhile, the palace is staying quiet, which is something they often do. But there's a sense that pressure is coming from the top. Some believe Prince William is pushing for the family to take a stronger stance. After all, he has a lot at stake as the next in line for the throne. This situation has escalated beyond just family drama. It's about the legitimacy of the royal line and protecting the monarchy from becoming the center of a scandal that feels more like a soap opera than a part of royal history. And Meghan? Well, she's definitely putting up a fight. Meghan believes the palace shouldn't have the power to remove her daughter's profile, claiming it's a public humiliation and goes too far. But here's the twist. Royal titles aren't like social media bios. They're given and taken away by the king whenever he wants. For example, King Charles could decide tomorrow to take away Harry's titles completely, leaving him as just Henry without any royal tags. Meghan isn't excluded from this either. What complicates things for Meghan is that she thinks all of this is revenge. Revenge for what, you might wonder? A mix of things. Her interview with Oprah, their Netflix deal, and that big PR campaign that makes her look like a Hollywood saint. But mainly, it's about the rumors surrounding her having another baby. There are talks that the royal team quietly wants to know who the doctors were for Archie and Lilibet's births. This is usually standard practice for royal births. Traditionally, they announce the names in a big formal way outside the palace. So far, Meghan hasn't shared any of that information. Not a single name has been revealed, and that silence is becoming increasingly noticeable. People who have been closely following this story keep wondering, why doesn't Meghan just set the record straight? If everything was above board, why not just show the birth certificates, name the doctors, and move on? Here's where it gets tricky. When Archie was born, there was no public announcement outside the palace, no official notice, and no cute photos taken right after his birth. Instead, we saw a carefully edited picture taken in a hallway and vague comments about the details of his birth. With Lilibet, it's even more unclear. There are no known medical staff, no listed hospital, just a brief announcement and a PR machine working furiously behind the scenes. There's a growing theory that Meghan Markle might not actually be the biological mother of her children. It sounds wild, but some folks believe there are odd details that support this idea. For example, Lilibet's birth certificate has an address in Colorado, even though she was born in California. People are wondering why that would be the case. Additionally, the birth certificate lists Meghan's grandmother as unknown, which some think is suspicious rather than just a simple mistake. Adding to the speculation are rumors that Meghan may have had a hysterectomy, possibly during her first marriage to Trevor. This raises questions about whether she could have carried her own children, making the idea of her using a surrogate more believable. While using a surrogate is perfectly legal, it becomes a big deal if you're part of the royal family. Traditions are strict, and the palace wants everything to be clear. If the children aren't biologically linked to the royal family, it could affect the line of succession, which is a significant issue. Meghan often talks about wanting to break away from royal traditions and being different, but in this case, it seems like being open about her children's parentage is really important. Staying quiet about these questions only fuels more speculation. People are looking for answers, and surprisingly, even the royal family seems to be wanting them now. Insiders suggest that this time, they're serious about getting to the bottom of things. Meanwhile, Prince Harry appears to be stuck in a tough Spot. He hasn't made any public statements to defend Meghan or clarify the ongoing situation. Some people think he's just tired of all the drama, while others believe he's trying to distance himself from a story that's become too complicated to handle. If it turns out that both of their kids were born through surrogates and they never mentioned it, especially while trying to present themselves as a legitimate royal family, the consequences could be huge, affecting not just their reputation, but potentially the monarchy itself. The royal website, which looks simple at first glance, is actually quite significant. The only people whose names appear there are those whose status is clear and accepted. So when Lilibet's name disappeared from the site, while she's still officially part of the royal line, that's like a warning. It's a way of saying, we're paying attention. You need to sort this out. At the same time, Meghan seems to think that public sympathy will protect her. She's doing friendly media interviews and portraying herself as a dedicated mom, always dressed in soft colors and smiling sweetly. The main issue remains. Where are the official records? Where's the proof? Because no matter how carefully she presents herself, the monarchy is built on facts and documents, not just appearances. And right now, it looks like Meghan has a lot of unanswered questions. Things are heating up for Meghan in Montecito, and she's well aware of it. In their large home, she's gathering her legal team, public relations expert, and anyone in the media willing to support her. Meghan believes this situation is about much more than just a profile on a website. It's personal for her. She sees it as a deliberate attempt to embarrass her and undermine her status, especially as a royal. And to some extent, she's right. The removal of her daughter Lilibet's profile may seem small, but in royal circles, it means a lot. What Meghan might not fully understand is how much the monarchy values appearances and strict traditions. Everything needs to look perfect, even if things behind the scenes aren't so great. She attempted to blend her royal life with her Hollywood persona, and it seemed to work for a time. However, as the excitement of the press tours died down and public interest faded, she was left facing many unanswered questions. People are no longer satisfied with fairy tales. They want real proof. The story of her children's births has become a central issue. Who was there for their births? Where did it happen? Was it done in a traditional way? And why has there been so much effort to keep details secret? Traditionally, royal births come with a particular routine. Photos outside the hospital, official announcements, and details that are recorded and can be verified. But for Archie and Lilibet, all we got was a blurry photo and some vague hints about where they were born. Now, Lilibet's name is disappearing from official family records. There are also whispers about Meghan's family background that have become controversial, not because of who she is, but because of what is missing or altered in the narrative. Stories about distant relatives and potential family secrets have added fuel to the fire. These conversations aren't new, but they've often been downplayed or hidden under media distractions. While that might work for a celebrity, it's a risky strategy for someone who has hopes for a royal future. What about the monarchy? It's already adjusting. King Charles has been mostly quiet, but those close to him mention that he's keeping a close eye on everything. Prince William, however, appears to be frustrated, not with Meghan herself, but with the chaos that seems to surround her. He realizes how delicate the royal family is right now, especially after Queen Elizabeth's passing. There's no room for drama. Every bit of credibility counts, and that means there's increasing pressure behind the scenes until someone, Meghan or Harry, finally comes forward with the whole story. If Meghan wants to keep whatever positive feelings people have left for her, she'll need more than carefully planned interviews and post-photo opportunities. She needs to provide real proof and possibly something she hasn't fully shown before: honesty. The longer this situation continues, the more people will assume the worst. That the recent decision to take down Lilibet's online profile wasn't a mistake, but a message indicating that until the palace receives real confirmation, whether it's legal, medical, or something else, she won't be given a spotlight. As for Harry, his lack of response is striking. He once mentioned he left the royal family to find privacy and protection, but what's unfolding now seems less like a man shielding his wife, and more like someone gradually stepping away from a story he no longer supports. If he truly wanted to put an end to this speculation, he could do so easily. Just one photo, one signed document, or the name of a hospital could clarify everything. But instead, we see nothing but staged smiles and constant buzz from his side. Until he chooses to break his silence, the palace will remain still, quiet, firm, and unyielding. Because in the end, you can't force your way into royalty. You have to prove your worth, or you risk being forgotten.